bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. December's inflation is still within the annual average target of the Development Budget Coordination Committee, despite its slight increase hitting 8.1%. The Philippine Statistics Authority said headline inflation last month stood higher than the 8% inflation last November, as well as compared to the 3.1% in the same period last 2021. PSA Undersecretary Dennis Mapa said the faster inflation rate last month was due to higher prices of food and non-alcoholic beverages. Other main sources of inflation were restaurants and accommodation services, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels. The PSA noted a slightly lower inflation rate in Metro Manila at 7.6%, while areas outside NCR incurred a higher rate of 8.2%. Per region, the highest inflation rate was recorded in Western Visayas at 10.5%, while the lowest was recorded in Bangsamoro region at 6.3%.
Ang nag-ambag ng malaki sa pagtaas ng inflation ng food and non-alcoholic beverages ay ang mas mabilis na pagtaas ng presyo ng mga sumusunod. Vegetables, tubers, and cooking bananas at iba pa, partikular ang repolyo na may 32.4% inflation mula sa 25.8% inflation noong Nobyembre 2022. Bigas na may 3.4% inflation mula sa 3.1% inflation noong Nobyembre at fruits and nuts tulad ng saging na may 7.6% inflation mula sa 6.2% inflation noong Nobyembre 2022.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and Chinese President Xi Jinping has agreed to establish a direct communication mechanism to prevent possible miscommunication in the West Philippine Sea. The joint statement, the Philippines and China would open a communication line between the Maritime and Ocean Affairs Office of the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Department of Boundary and Ocean Affairs of China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Both leaders also reaffirmed the importance of the Declaration of the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, which was signed by China and the 10 ASEAN member states in 2002. It states that all parties would exercise self-restraint from conducting activities that complicate or heighten tension and affect peace in the region. Both leaders also acknowledged the usefulness of practical cooperation between their coast guards and agreed to convene it at an early date. They also agreed to convene the annual defense security talks at a mutually convenient time. The Philippine and Chinese governments are committed to bringing back pre-pandemic levels of tourist arrivals and resuming direct flights, especially between Manila and Beijing. This as the Department of Tourism and the Chinese Ministry of Culture and Tourism signed the implementation program of the Memorandum of Understanding on Tourism Cooperation for 2023 to 2028. The deal intends to encourage and support each other in strengthening the mutual development of tourism-related industries and standards. Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco thanked China for its commitment and interest as the deal is expected to generate massive employment opportunities and investments. She highlighted the country's goal to make the tourism industry a resilient economic pillar as a possible powerhouse in Asia. Before the pandemic, the Philippines recorded 8.26 million international visitor arrivals, where China recorded the second highest number with 1.74 million arrivals. In other news, the Philippine Navy Marine Landing Battalion Team 10 helped residents of Fuga Island in Cagayan Province to communicate with their loved ones during the Christmas season. The unit of the 4th Marine Brigade provided free battery charging for residents' mobile phones and other communication devices in mid-December. In a Facebook post, the Navy said the Marine unit continuously provides free battery charging as it considered a far-flung island or one of the geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas in Cagayan. This is still in line with their plans to build defense facilities on the island, which will include a sheltered pier, a naval station, and a littoral monitoring station. Former President Rodrigo Duterte then instructed that some 20 acres in the area be given to the Navy for the construction of a naval detachment. That's the latest on the biggest stories from the Pna Newsroom. For more news content, visit our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We're also shown on the social media pages of the Office of the Press Secretary and Radyo Pilipinas RP1. Stay tuned for more news updates. I'm Stephanie Civiliano. We tell stories that inspire change.